Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like jokester Folie Ducks is not doing too hot with the critics. I'm actually kind of curious. Let me look up what the Rotten Tomatoes score for the first jokester was. But yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm that surprised by this, just because I feel like the first jokester movie, it didn't really call for a sequel. Um, like like this is very obviously like a sequel that's being made because the first movie made $1 billion. And I looked it up here. The first jokester movie, to be fair, actually not all that different, was 69%. Uh, Very nice. Good score. Then the second jokester, as we're gonna get into here, is 60%. So definitely a drop. Although to be fair, it's 43 reviews versus 601. So it honestly could swing either way. But as of right now, critics are mixed on it. Most of them like the movie, but 40% of them are like, I dislike the movie. So let's get into what they have to say. Jokester Folie Ducks is absolutely not what you expect it to be. But that's not a bad thing. The story of a man who refuses to be anything but himself right till the very end. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. And that's what makes this jokester sequel so deliciously subversive. So Serena Segedoni liked it. Alex Billington. One thing that jokester Folie Ducks really does get right is how this version of the Joker is not really a bad guy. He's a mirror for society. Tori Brazier says, Folie Ducks achieves two remarkable things. It updates the movie musical using the genre in an inspired way that shouldn't frighten fans who don't like them. It's also that rare sequel that meets, if not surpasses, the quality of the predecessor. I should actually be looking at the score. So Serena Segedoni, she gave it a 4 out of 5, so it's a very positive rating. Alex Billington only gave it a 6.5 out of 10, so that's not great. Tori Brazier from Metro gave it a 4 out of 5. That's a very positive score. Okay. Alexander Harrison, this is from Screen Rant, one of the big outlets. Seems like Todd Phillips targeted Folie Ducks directly at the audience who got a little too into Joker and made it to antagonize them. Interesting. 3.5 out of 5. Ooh, are they going after the incels here? I don't know. John Bleasdale from Time Out. He says, we're left with the tragedy of a broken man in a world only interested in sensationalism. It's a big swing for all involved, but all the better for it. 4 out of 5. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I kind of that's actually an interesting comment there, because when you watch the trailers, it does seem like Lady Gaga, Harley, she seems to have some like weird infatuation with Jokester. They're obviously like Jokester imposters. Wouldn't surprise me if like a big part of this movie is like society and the culture sort of assuming things about the Jokester, about Alex, whatever his name was in the movie. While him not living up to those ideals like at all. Because if you remember in the first movie, he was not like this big mastermind villain that was trying to inspire Gotham or anything like that. Everybody sort of imposed that onto him. So very interested to see how that ends up being explored in this movie. Hannah Strong from Little White Lies says, it begs the question, why is Phillips so reluctant to embrace that the film is a musical? Why not add a little color? Oh God, she's British. Oh no. Some flourish to the production design. It doesn't say what the score is, but I mean, that's not like the worst. This isn't like the worst thing in the world. By the way, I'm not reading the full reviews, so bear that in mind. But like, if the movie isn't like as much of a musical, that's not really like a negative thing in my opinion. It's like, well, is the movie on its own good? That would be the operative question that I would ask. It is not that this version of the Jokester is inherently wrong, but it is uninteresting. Please let us be done with this. So, I mean, this guy gave it a negative review, but to be fair, sounds like he didn't like the first movie anyway. So, you know, if this is more of the same, then if you dislike the first one, then you're probably not going to like this one. But if you like the first one, probably going to like it. It feels remarkably honest and true to itself, demonstrating again that taking such a popular character seriously is nothing to laugh at. What does that mean? It feels remarkably honest, as from Slash Film. And it feels remarkably honest and true to itself, demonstrating again that taking such a popular character seriously is nothing to laugh at. Oh, I guess it's saying that like the movie is exploring the the darkness of people, like maybe feeling a little too attached to the jokester. It's kind of what I'm getting from that. Is from Radio Times. Phoenix is seamless. Picking up this Maudlin. What the fuck is that? Maudlin. Self-pityingly or tearfully sentimental, often through drunkenness. Interesting.
Maudlin.
I've never seen that word before. You learn something new every day, don't you? Sorry. Picking up this Maudlin character again as if it were only yesterday. It's a truly versatile, malleable performance. I mean, yeah, he gives a good performance. That's not surprising. Cinema Blend. An overindulgent musical that lacks the punch of its predecessor. Okay, so here we have somebody that seemingly liked the first one. It's not into this one. So that's interesting. Where the original jokester remains a stunning exception, that rare is from Screen International. That rare blockbuster with emotional shading, grown-up themes, and a genuine sense of grandeur, the sequel fails to stay on the beat. Uh-oh, so this is somebody that likes the first jokester. It's not a fan of this one. Because that was the interesting with some of the first Rotten scores, right? Where it seemed like people that they don't really like the first one, so don't like this one either. But now we're getting into a bunch of them that were like, I like the first one, but this one is poo-poo caca. So Nicholas Bell from Ion Cinema says, Scott Silver's iffy bits of dialogue aren't able to be masked by the strength of the cast this time around. Uh-oh, especially with a returning lead who, when he isn't caterwauling? What are all of these words? Caterwauling. The shrieking and yowling made by a cat, for example, when it is on heat or fighting, derogatory, similar unpleasant noises made by a person. What? Scott Silver's iffy bits of dialogue aren't able to be masked by the strength of the cast this time around, especially with a returning lead who, when he isn't caterwauling through endless musical numbers. Oh, so he's saying that, I'm assuming he means that Phoenix can't sing. Appears to have slipped into eternal what are all of these words? Somnolence. Somnolence is a state of strong desire for sleep or sleeping for unusually long periods. So he's saying that, it seems like he's kind of saying that Phoenix isn't great in this and that he kind of slept through he can't sing and that he kind of slept through the performance. That's crazy. But I will say, this is the one where he says that the dialogue in the first movie was iffy. So it seems like he wasn't big on the first movie either. So keep that in mind. The Film Stage says, it's not that the film is so crazy that you have to see it. In fact, what's crazy about it is that it isn't. Wait, what? Or that you don't. I guess he's saying that you don't have to see it. Rather, that few have ever had a platform like Felix and Joaquin to fool with expectations of the masses so blatantly. Ooh. So it's saying, I think he's saying that he likes it, but that it's just not as grand, or like you don't. He likes it, but it's not like must watch film. That's what that kind of reads as. It's not that the film is so crazy that you have to see it. In fact, what's crazy about it is that, he's saying that it's not crazy. I get what he means. Rather, that few have ever had a platform like Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix to fool with expectations of the masses so blatantly. So I guess he's saying that it's not as like maybe edgy and as crazy as the first one. Interesting. The film is audaciously different in style from the original. Not quite as electrifying, but bold and brilliant all the same. Huh. I wonder what that means. It's from Daily Mail. Financial Times. Jokester still has a trick up its sleeve, even a serious subtext. The best moment comes late on in an incendiary scene. So that's a 3 out of 5. So that seems like this guy's saying that it's fine, and it gets like more interesting near the end. Daily Telegraph: Folie Ducks can't quite match its predecessor for dizzying impact, but it matches it for horrible tinderbox tension. It's a film you might feel burst into flames at any given moment. That's interesting. So I guess the main thing that we're getting from a lot of these is that it's not as like it's just not as impactful as the first one. I guess it doesn't have as many like crazy scenes, maybe kind of like, you know, when the jokester goes like on that murdering spree in the first movie, or I don't know, when he's like beating his head into a wall or the glass or something. Maybe that's kind of what they're getting at. So interesting. The new Marshall Schaffer from Decider says this newfound stylistic vigor helps extend the shelf life of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but by the time the end comes, his incarnation feels exhausted. Well, this guy's saying that there is new style, but other people are saying that there isn't. So I'm not sure what he means by that. Phillips is just incapable of delivering the genre's requisite razzle-dazzle that would surely complement Joker's persona. So, well, okay, so this is from Collider. Kind of sounds like this guy didn't like the first one either, so kind of, you know, important to take into consideration. It's startlingly dull, a pointless procedural that seems to disdain its audience, coming from Vanity Fair. That is kind of something that I've been getting, not really from these reviews, but from people that I've been seeing talking about it on Twitter, is that apparently a lot of it takes place in a courtroom. So that's interesting. Oh, well, Total Film says, part courtroom movie, part behind bars romance, Folie Ducks is an unconventional musical sequel that fails to hit the high notes. It's crazy. So yeah, interesting. I'm not gonna go through and read them all because Jesus Christ. I don't know. Obviously there are some people there that it kind of just feels like they don't really like this version of Joker anyways. Like they didn't like the first one either. So, you know, that's always important to take into consideration. But there are also a few in there that are like, yeah, I like the first Joker and this one just doesn't work. So those people do exist as well. I'm still looking forward to the movie, you know. I've thought that the trailers have looked intriguing, at least. I was never really a massive fan of the first Joker movie. Like, I definitely think it's good, but I don't know that I really walked out of it going like, oh my god, this is cinema or whatever, like most other people did. But you know, I still like the idea of like Harley kind of being the person, kind of like doing the reversing the roles. That's what it looks like in the trailers, where like Harley is kind of the one that instigating Arthur. I think I called him Alex earlier. His name is Arthur Fleck, right? Yeah. I kind of like the idea of like Harley kind of instigating Arthur turning more into the Joker. Just what they teased in the movie just looks interesting to me. But I definitely do think that my expectations are a little bit tempered. Although again, to be fair, critics were also kind of divided on the first one. It only had a 69. Nice. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you like, oof, let me temper my expectations so as not to be disappointed, or are you going like, I never trust the critics anyways. The critics are always wrong, and they're cringe and bad and gay. I don't know, maybe that's you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.